Talk to me about WCW with Eric there versus Vince Russo. How was that for you? How did you get along with both of them? What were the differences
Yeah.
in booking?
Well, Russo was there before Bischoff, if I remember correctly, or before we even got out of the power plant. I think they were both there because we were doing the Bischoff Russo security, R&B security when we were in the power plant. So they would fly us to nitros and stuff, and we had the R&B security shirts on. We'd walk them to the ring, and like if you know what you're looking for, like on some of the videos, you see me, Mike Sanders, Jindrak, and Elix Skipper, and guys like that. So I didn't really deal with them much, even though we were always with them doing their bits. We were just kind of like extras, we're power plant guys trying to get a spot. We're just sitting there with our mouth shut, trying to do whatever they're telling us to do. And that's just the way the rest of the business is, and that's the way a lot of jobs are. If you just sit back and you learn as you go and you don't say nothing. And then so then I guess Bischoff kind of, I think, took off for a little bit, if I remember right, because I don't remember him being around for quite a while. So Russo kind of took over, and that's when I saw Russo and Terry Taylor, me and Mike Sanders walking through an airport in West Virginia, and we walk into the terminal, Terry Taylor and Russo sitting there, and I wore my hair spiked up, and they couldn't believe I was walking through the airport with my hair spiked up, like the old Kwee character. Wasn't quite as long yet, but it was kind of, you could tell it was kind of outrageous, I guess you could say. And they both looked at me and said, "You actually wear your hair like that?" And I don't know, I'm sure Terry Taylor, he's pretty brash, like he doesn't pull no punches, and he's like, that hair is like over the top. Like, I can't believe you actually have your hair like that walking through the airport. So, and Russo, he's just sitting there and he goes, "You know what?" He goes, "I think I might have an idea for you." He was sitting there saying this. And then he says, "I tell you what, Nitro, come find me. I want to talk to you about some things." So next Nitro, I found, Russo, and he said, "Hey, how's this sound to you?" He was trying to base it off the character that was on Saturday Night Live that Chris Kattan did, the Mango character.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a spoof of that, I guess. And so they were calling me Kiwi at first. Well, I guess David Spade played a character called Kiwi. It was his cousin or whatever. So Saturday Night Live was actually going to sue WCW for the name infringement. So they actually changed it to the Kwee, which, I mean, you could have come up with something better than that. And of course, they wouldn't let me come up with anything because any idea I had was shot down as soon as I opened my mouth. So I didn't really have too much say in it, but at least Russo gave me the chance to have a character and, to do stuff, So I'm grateful for Russo for that. And, that was the start of the Kwee, and that's where it ended up when the company ended.
What happened when Eric came back?
Oh, now see, when Eric got there, man, I was pumped up because he was going through the transition of buying the company. When he came in, everybody's like, "Oh, yeah, Eric's buying the company, and it's going to be, it's going to be a lot better." But I remember the first time Eric officially took over, he would come to the shows and stuff. Well, Jane Engel, which was the WCW lawyer, she come in the locker room, she was out there yelling through the locker room, and somebody went out there, and then I think it was Jerry too. And Jerry, the Wall, Sergeant A Wall, he come in and said, "Hey, Diane wants to see you out in the hallway." So I said, "Why in the hell? It's kind of weird, like it never happened." So I walked out there and she goes, "Hey, Mr. Bischoff would like to see you in his office." So I was like, "Holy shit, this is either good or bad." Like, I'm thinking I'm either getting fired or, something good's going to happen. So we were in, I think we were in Charlotte, somewhere around North Carolina. I can't remember the town. And we were doing the Nitro there. So actually, it might have been Thunder. I don't remember now. I used to remember all the towns and the buildings and everything, but now I'm brain dead. But so he sat me down in his office. I walk in there, and he was like, "Hey, Allan, have a seat," and super nice, shook my hand. He's like, "Listen, I got big plans for you, man." He said, "You're going to be one of my you're going to be one of the top guys, man." He goes, "I got all kinds of stuff planned for you." He goes, I need you to do one favor for me." He said, "I need you to wrestle Rick Steiner tonight." Because at that time, Rick Steiner was kind of falling out of his, tough guy persona. People weren't taking him serious, I guess, which I never thought that was the case, but I guess that's how they saw it. So he said, I need you to put Steiner over Hughes tonight. I need you to make him look like $1 million. And I mean, I've never worked with you as far as the wrestling business goes, Mike, but I was a hard worker. Ask Crowbar or anybody that ever trained with me. I do whatever you want to do. I don't care if I lost, I don't care if I went over, because I didn't go over very much, but guess what? It doesn't change your paycheck, does it? So, but the fans do remember that kind of stuff. But I do whatever they ask me to do because, he's sitting there promising me he's got big things for me. He told me, he goes, the money's coming. You're going to be rich. You're going to be making all this money. You're going to sign a new deal, and I'm sitting there going, oh, hell yeah, sign me up, man. I said, whatever you need done, Mr. Bischoff, I'm there. I got you. So I worked Rick Steiner that night, put him over like $1 million. Bischoff was freaking going nuts about it. He thought it was great. He thought I worked well with him. He said, you put him over, man. He said, that's exactly what I wanted. And then from there on out, until he left, he called me in his office every week at whatever arena we were at. Excuse me, I got to get a drink. So you got to imagine, I was pretty excited. Bischoff telling me this stuff week after week, and then I started getting a little push. I'm going over guys. They're giving me some enhancement talent. Right there, the writing's not on the wall anymore. I'm actually doing it. So I was getting pretty excited, man, and then I mean, he was treating me great, dude. Last time I saw him was out in Vegas, and I thanked him for it. And yeah, he was a great dude, man. And I really do believe if he would have took over that company, I really do believe he would have given me a shot, man, from the bottom of my heart. I know he would.